Hello, my name is Louis Colon, and today we will explore how developing emotional intelligence plays an important role in one's ability to manage emotional cues in oneself and others. Hopefully, this information will help to improve job performance in your organization. Let's begin by defining emotional intelligence. According to Daniel Goleman, psychologist and author of a New York Times bestselling organizational behavior book, emotional intelligence is the capacity for recognizing our feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, and for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. Emotional intelligence describes abilities distinct from, but that are complementary to, academic intelligence. Now, Goleman's definition of emotional intelligence was an expansion on the respective research of psychology professors Salovey and Meyer. These professors define EQ as the ability to engage in information processing about one's own and others' emotions. Emotional intelligence is the ability to use this information as a guide to thinking and shaping behavior. So, what's the big deal with emotional intelligence? Well, while IQ focuses on cognitive abilities, EQ focuses on factors of human engineering and emotional regulation. This includes an individual's ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. For this reason, EQ is regarded as a very valuable component in the workplace. Now let's dive in a little further. Your emotional intelligence is very much connected to your brain. In other words, the more you think about what you're feeling, the more developed this pathway becomes. Neurologists use the term plasticity to describe the brain's ability to change. What is interesting about your EQ, in contrast to your IQ, is that you can always grow it. You're not limited in its potential for expansion. Now, why is emotional intelligence important to organizations? Well, according to Adler and Reed's research on leader behavior and job satisfaction, approximately 50% of an employee's work satisfaction is determined by the relationship an employee has with his or her boss. EQ is a prerequisite for effective leadership. To be a high level leader, you need to be able to manage your own emotions as well as those of other people. You must have the ability to be adaptable and have high people skills. Now, why should employers value EQ over IQ? Well, employers value emotional intelligence over IQ because of the following reasons. First of all, employees with high emotional intelligence usually remain calm under pressure. These people are able to adapt to emergent situations. Secondly, employees with high EQ are able to resolve conflict effectively. These individuals are able to better compartmentalize and filter their emotions, allowing them to make more objective decisions. Thirdly, employees with high emotional intelligence are empathetic to their colleagues. This attribute helps build team cohesion and solidifies trust within the framework of the team. Fourthly, employees with high emotional intelligence are able to lead by example. These individuals model behavior that is acceptable by organizational norms. Their ability to recognize and regulate emotions helps them leverage and use these as motivational tools in order to accomplish their goals. Lastly, employees with high EQ may put more consideration into business decisions. Emotions affect the decision-making process. According to Robbins and Judge, authors of a leading organizational behavior textbook, positive emotions can actually enhance problem-solving skills. Now, what makes up your EQ? There are four different components that make up your emotional intelligence. Each one corresponds to a factor that can influence another one. Now, two of these components deal with the area of recognition, while the other two are associated more with regulatory factors. These four factors can also be divided into two competency categories, which include personal and social competence. Now, self-awareness is having recognition of your emotional state during any given time and recognizing how your behavior actually impacts those around you. Self-management leverages self-insight and relates it to situational interactions. Social awareness involves the perception of others' moods and the ability to acutely listen to what others are trying to communicate. Excuse me. Finally, relationship management uses awareness cues to clearly express ideas or information that can be used to handle conflict more effectively. Now, an easier way to view this is this. Self-awareness and social awareness are based on factors that I can see visibly. Now, self-management and relationship management are based on more on what I can do. Now, there are many different ways to grow in your emotional intelligence, and this could greatly impact how successful you are in the workplace. So let's look at an example of how to grow in relationship management. Below is an example of how you could actually grow in this area. So if you're having a hard time not being open and willing enough to really explain yourself to other people, then you can practice and train yourself to explain your decisions and not just make them. If you're having a hard time maybe not demonstrating enough sensitivity to others, you can learn and grow in the area of acknowledgement of other people's feelings. And if you're handling conflict ineffectively, then you can learn through the process. You can learn emotional intelligence through the process of tackling in and through a tough conversation. Now let's look at how we can grow maybe in our social awareness. If you're having a hard time closing yourself off to feedback, then you can learn to seek and really visualize the entire picture. If you have a hard time withdrawing in social situations, you can begin by greeting people by name. This will actually help you in the process of engaging with other individuals. If you're having a hard time not paying attention to other people's feelings, then you can learn or you can grow in this area by empathizing with these individuals and actually stepping into their shoes or what they're experiencing or feeling. Now, in closing, there are a few things that will propel you in life and improve workplace behavior, like developing your emotional intelligence. Now, I hope this was a great tool to help you how you could improve or how emotional intelligence could actually benefit you in the workplace.